Hello and welcome to the Tiny Humanist podcast. This is my podcast all about knitting, sewing, crochet, cross stitch, and all manner of crafty goodness. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, which has been sunny. It's very bright in here. I apologize if the light is a bit weird. But you can find me online as Tiny Humanist everywhere on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube, and my Etsy shop is also under the same name. And hello! It's been a few months. My cat is yelling about nothing. It's been a few months since my last episode. As previous viewers of the podcast may realize, I am now in New Brunswick, and we've been here for almost 2 months, which feels weird. We got here very late September, after a very, very long drive. And yeah, we've been here for almost 2 months, and yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Yeah, it's been a while since my last episode. It's been very hectic here, what with packing, moving, buying a house, and decorating the house, and restarting the dyeing process and all of that jazz. So it's been a while. I don't really remember what was in my last episode, but I have some very clear finished objects that I know were started after my last episode. But first off, I'll start off with what I'm wearing, and I know you've seen me wear this before. I wear it almost every day. It's a problem. I need to make more, and I have more planned. But this is my Twigs pullover. I think it's by Junko. Oh, I don't remember her last name. I'll put the link down below. I love this sweater. I absolutely adore this sweater. I do wear it almost every day. And I love the yarn that it's knit in. I used Durum Natura Ulysses in 3 different colorways, and I just adore it. But anyway, I'm going to jump straight into some finished objects. The first one is one I know I had started in my last episode. So I finished this. I actually finished it on the drive here. It took us 6 days to drive from northern Alberta to Fredericton, New Brunswick, and I wouldn't recommend anyone do that. It sucks. But I did have my knitting with me, and I didn't do any of the driving. I don't drive. I hate it. I've always hated driving. I've never been comfortable doing it, so if I don't have to, I will not. And there was no way my boyfriend was gonna let me drive his truck with, you know, a 36-foot trailer behind it. Anyway, so first finished object is my Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed Designs. Here she is. Funnily enough, I have blocked this. I've woven in all the ends. Haven't worn it yet. Mostly because I don't really have anything to wear to go with it, like jeans or a skirt. I've cut out a skirt that I want to go with this, but I just have to sew it up. But yes, this is Cozy Classic Raglan. I knitted out of 1 strand of Knit Picks. I actually have it here. Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Sequoia Heather colorway. And then I held that together with a strand of Stroll Aloft, and I think that one was in the Labyrinth colorway. So I have a couple more balls of beads. I might make a baby sweater with that. But yes, it was very great. I only made 1 modification. I did the sort of bell sleeve or balloon sleeve modification. And then I had knit the bottom hem the 3 inches that it requires. I think it was 3 inches. Maybe. But I find a lot of the times if the ribbing on the bottom is too long, it sort of cinches it in even more than I want, I suppose. And I just find it looks a little bit funny on me because I have a really, really short torso, so it looks a little bit weird. So I actually unpicked the ribbing that I had done, and I redid it just to be a little bit shorter. That's the only modification I made. And she already has threads coming out of her because of my cat. God bless her. And I really love it. And it's almost cold enough here to wear it. It's weirdly warm here right now. I keep being told by people who are from here that this is an uncommonly warm fall. I'll have to take people's word for it because it's hot here. It's not hot, but like it's warm. But that is my first finished object. I really should try to wear this on these ones. My second finished object is something I started on the drive here. So I had my projects all planned for me, and this one turned out so great. I love it so much. This is the Understated by Joji Locatelli. And I have been meaning to make this for a while. I'm so glad that I did. So I knit this in Harrisville Designs Nightshades, and I think this is the Streetlight colorway. It's the one with a little bit of yellow mixed in, which kind of, in some lights, makes it look a little bit green, which I really, really like. And I knit this to pattern. I think I made the second size, I think, yeah. And it's a beautiful V-neck, oversized drop shoulder. It's so beautiful. I love it so much, and the yarn is so woolly and soft. And I think I like to look at other people's project pages on Ravelry, since I can use Ravelry with no issues. And a lot of people said that the amount of stitches you picked up for the armholes, or for the sleeves, wasn't quite enough. And I did make the mistake of picking up the amount that it said in the pattern, and I think I knit a whole sleeve and I didn't like it. So I ripped it all out. And if I hadn't done that, and I had just done what I ended up doing in the first place, I actually would have got this whole sweater out of 3 balls of the Harrisville Designs. Because I had to rip out the sleeve, and because I just cut it off and started with a new strand, I did have to break into a 4th one, but regardless. It looks amazing with a white, or like a light colored collared shirt underneath it. It's so lovely, and it wears really well. So that is my second finished object. And I've been wearing this one, I mean, a lot of times when I leave the house. I don't really wear it inside the house, it'd be a bit warm. Okay. My third finished object, and this might be one of my most beloved things I've ever made in my life. It's so cute, and I love it so much. I didn't particularly enjoy the process of it, but I do like the finished object. So this is the Friday mini sweater by Petite Knit. And there it is. I posted a picture of this on my Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it's the most liked photo. One of my most liked photos I've ever had. But yeah, this is the Friday mini. It's done in a 1x1 broken rib, and it's a style that I'm really drawn to right now. I actually told myself after I finished this that I absolutely would never knit another thing like this, but I have yarn for a project that I already started and then ripped out, and I think I might have to make the Friday tee. Anyway, so I knit this out of my own hand-dyed yarn. The background color is it's a new color, it's called Mushroom. And I'm hoping to have some of that in the shop later this year, hopefully. And then I used my Jolly Holiday mini set that I had in the shop a couple months ago, which I will also be having more of. I've had a few people ask for kits for this, so what I think I might do is I'll dye up the mini skein sets, and then I'll put a listing for the mushroom colorway, and then you can just add however much you'll need. The pattern does say you should be able to get it out of 100 gram ball of fingering weight yarn for the background color, but I had to use a little bit of another color that I found that was a close enough match, just for this part right here. And hilariously enough, in my project that I had started and ripped out, I literally had this color in the same base, but I forgot. And by the time I remembered, there was no way I was going to be unpicking it and redoing it. but it's super cute. I did it in the smallest size, and I think it's a 1-year size. And this is going to be going to my nephew Axton for Christmas. His mother already knows, but now that I've shown it on the podcast, I can mail that to her. There's a couple things I have to mail her for Christmas yet, but my sister-in-law, not my nephew. And it's super cute, and it's squishy and delightful, and yeah. And because I've made this, I don't have to do a gauge swatch if I make the Friday tea for myself. Win-win. Not that I mind making gauge swatches. I'm actually pretty diligent about that. Not that my projects always end up looking good or fitting properly, but that's beside the point. I also finished 2 pairs of socks. You know, to be honest, I probably finished more pairs of socks than these 2, but I like to show myself that I do in fact finish socks and not just make one of each color. But I actually finished these 2 days ago. This is the Dark and Stormy colorway. And I really, really like this colorway. It's just a simple 4-stripe. The nice gold as a contrast. So I finished those the other day, and then I also finished this pair, and these are in my Harvest colorway. And this colorway was in the shop this past weekend. And I also really like that I've sort of figured out my rhythm for not all my colorways, but I've sort of figured out a way for my socks to match. Not that I care, but I sort of I know my formula now to get matching pairs of socks, which I really enjoy. And then by the time I finish them, because I only use a 50-gram skein of yarn, and I have size 6.5, 7 feet, and I don't particularly like long socks, so it's a perfect combination. So I use a 50-gram skein, and then I only use a contrast color for the heel, and I only end up using 5 grams for the heel. So if I wanted longer socks, or I was making a bigger pair of socks, I could still use a 50-gram ball and then use a contrast color for the heels, toes, and cuffs easily. Luckily, no one in my life that I knit socks for particularly needs long socks or has huge feet right now, because the boyfriend does not get socks. He's a bit picky when it comes to his socks. He likes the thick, he gets store-bought, but he is very particular about the fact that they're merino socks and all this, and like, he just, no. He gets sweaters. He has 6 sweaters already, so he can't complain, and he's getting more. Nicely enough, though, he did mention the other day that he wants a sweater vest because he saw one of his coworkers wearing one, and then he wanted one, which is great because I didn't know what I was getting him for Christmas. We were kind of like thinking we weren't going to do Christmas gifts this year because just the hullabaloo about moving and stuff like that, and I haven't started anything for anyone really. So yeah, the idea of knitting a sweater vest is absolutely fine because it's literally just a sweater without sleeves, so that's great. But I have one work in progress right now that I'm trying to get through. Not very hard, mind you, but I'm going to try to get through this before I start casting on anything else, because that's generally how I work. But I cast on the Dark Cloud, I think it is. Yeah. And I've made this before, a couple years ago. I had made it for my mother, who, I don't know if she likes it. Haven't talked to her since then. But I'm using the same type of yarn that I did for the last one, and that is Knit Picks. Let's see, actually. Knit Picks City Tweed Aran / heavy worsted weight. And I'm knitting this one in the Snowbank colorway, which is this right here. And I really enjoy this yarn. It is very squishy and very nice to work with and feels really nice in your hands. So I'm almost done that. So this is what I've got so far. It's just a big poncho-y thing. It looks a bit silly right now because it needs to be blocked and have the has the ribbing stretched out a little bit, but it's really nice. The only thing I have to do now is do the neckline. I actually already did the neckline, but then I didn't like it, so I ripped it out, so I have to redo the neckline. And then just the short sleeves, which you just take the two sides of the ribbing, oh goodness, and then you pick up stitches around here and do a sleeve. So honestly, I could finish this in a day if I sat down and did it, but it's just the sitting down and doing it that I'm having an issue with, because I'm going a little bit crazy with Christmas decorations, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's just the way she goes. Which, speaking of Christmas decorations, yeah, I didn't have any more to say about this. I'm almost finished. I'll show it again on the next podcast. Maybe I'll even wear it. But speaking of Christmas decorations, I actually had another finished object that I entirely forgot about, which is silly because I finished it yesterday. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's actually behind me. Yeah, I don't see why not. So I finished almost. I actually have a pair of socks and a pair of mitts, little ones, to make, but I'm not even sure if I'm going to do those yet. So I made Santa's laundry line, which is this right here. So it comes with long johns, a jacket, trousers, a scarf, and a hat. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do the mitts and socks yet. I probably will. The only issue I have with it is that I do it in the round, obviously, but I do it on magic loop, and the only length of cord I have for that particular size is 40 inches, so you're gonna spend like most of your time just moving the cord over. So I might just knit it on a different size needle. But I knit it out of Durametra You'll See Again, and it's super cute. I'll put in some extra footage here just to give you a close-up of what it looks like. It's super fun and quick and satisfying, and yeah, I've been making quite a few Christmas decorations. I've been making paper bag stars and felt trees, and I'm trying to make it as cozy as possible because it's going to be my first Christmas here away from everyone. And the biggest issue, not issue I suppose, but the biggest thing from moving to New Brunswick from Alberta is that we are 3 hours ahead of everyone I know. And so that sort of cuts out 6 hours of communication time, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night. So that's kind of a bummer, but that's why it's kind of nice that I work for myself and can keep whatever hours I feel. This is so rambly. So the sweater that I want to cast on after my dark cloud is done, I need to figure out if I have the yarn for a sweater vest. I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. I think I have some Ralma phenol yarn in my stash. But the next one I want to cast on for myself, and I am trying to cast on more for myself, and I'm really trying to make... I've gotten pretty picky about what I make for myself, and my sort of standard at the moment that I've sort of just started figuring out is that it has to be really easy to wear. I'm finding quite a few things that I've made before are pretty and they're interesting, but they're not easy to wear. So it's, yeah, if I can't just throw it on over a shirt or like with a pair of jeans, then I don't really want it. Anyway, so I'm finally figuring this out. But my next project for myself is going to be the Field Day jacket by Ozetta. And it's a very luxurious looking basic cardigan. And I actually don't have any cardigans for myself. I wear the cardigans that I've made for my boyfriend. But in general, I don't actually have any cardigans. I always make pullovers. And the yarn that I dyed for this was supposed to be a pullover, but I decided I needed a cardigan, especially since the weather here is... I need fuzzy, warm sweaters because the weather here doesn't get as cold numbers-wise, but because it's a wet cold, it can get in a lot more ferociously. So you need to dress accordingly. So I dyed up this is DK, I think it's 80/20 Superwash Merino Nylon DK. And then this is a Surrey Alpaca blend, fingering weight. So this is my mushroom colorway, and then this is dark mushroom, so I just over dyed double strength the mushroom colorway, and I think it looks lovely. And this is my swatch. And I got nearly perfect gauge, as close as I'm gonna get. And the fabric is lovely, and I'm really excited to cast that on. And I think it'll knit up quite quick too, because they knit it on 5mm needles. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's gonna be super nice. And it's the same sort of color scheme as a lot of my other things that I'm making right now. I don't wear colorful, which I can't really say that. It's not that I don't wear colorful. I find basic colors like this easier to wear. I do have a winter jacket though that is literally rainbow plaid. So I don't know where that fits in. But anyway, I'm really excited for this. And this is sort of my holdover project because I'm really excited for Hive Knits to publish her first sweater, the first sweater pattern. And she's doing that early next year, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I already know what colorway I'm gonna dye for that. So this is sort of to tide me over. Also, I've been really obsessed with like mohair and Suri alpaca lately. It's just the way she goes. One more thing that I'm meaning to cast on, and this is the unraveled sweater. So I am going to cast on the Friday tee by Petite Knit, and I'm going to be using the colors from my harvest. So knitting this, I love the color arrangement so much that I knit a 50-gram skein of yarn in all of the 8 colorways that are in here. I'm not going to be able to hold these all. So I dyed the 8 colors. So yeah, I had already started something. I can't even remember what it was, but it ended up just not looking right. I had finished the yoke and moved on to the body, and it didn't look right. It needed texture. I always knew that this, whatever I made with this, was going to need a broken rib texture. It's just all I can imagine it in. So I decided I was gonna rip it out. And I did. And it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, so I've got all these, and I'm going to be casting on the Friday tee, and I'm going to be doing 4 rows of each color in the broken rib pattern. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also, complete side note, this is the colorway I will be knitting the first sweater by Hive Knits in, because I love it. I love it a lot. But yeah, those are my plans. I don't know when I'm going to start that. I might start it right away. I have no idea. Then I can have a simple stockinette project and then one with texture in it, but nothing too crazy. Yes. So the last thing, I'm going to be having a shop update on the 28th of November this month. I think the 28th. I think 27th or 28th. I will update you on that. Can't remember. Anyway. So, I will have 2 colorways in the shop for that update. The first one, and because I'm so unprepared, I literally can't remember what I called these. I'll update you on that as well. So first off, I'm going to have kits for bags and then this colorway. Should have brought the bag. No, I don't have it. I gave that bag away. I have to make more. So I'll be making bags. This yarn is inspired by the bags that I have to make, that I'm avoiding at the moment. But yeah, so there's this colorway. And that'll be kits, as well as probably some standalones, because I try to dye more than what I need for the kits, just because not everybody wants a kit. So there's that one, and then I also have this one, which is it's a new Christmas colorway, which I really like. I really like this. I can't remember what I called it though. I know I wrote it down somewhere. I'm really bad for that. I'm also really bad for realizing what colorways I've dyed, and I'm not good at recognizing my own. Unless it's the vintage Christmas one. I know that one. I love it so much. But yeah, those are the 2 colorways that'll be in the shop. And then I'm hoping to have the Jolly Holiday mini skein sets dyed up for either the week after, early December. And then with the option of ordering some extra mushroom colorway for the background if you're planning on making a little kid jumper. Sweater, not English. And another thing after that, I don't know if I'll have any other updates in the shop between the Jolly Holiday mini skeins, and then the one after that is going to be my birthday update. And so my birthday is on the 3rd of January, and it's going to be my 33rd birthday. And if you know, you are a fully grown adult hobbit at 33. So I'm finally going to be an adult, so I'm going to have to start acting like it. But every year I do a birthday colorway, but next year I'm going to be doing a Lord of the Rings themed birthday collection. I'm planning on, I've planned quite a few of them. It's not completely cemented, and I'm not holding myself to it every month, but every month I want to release a new Lord of the Rings themed colorway. It's going to start on my birthday, and I'm going to be having some kits and then just sock sets for that colorway on my birthday. How many times can I say it? But yeah, it's sort of a tribute to the fact that I'm going to be 33, and then also to the fact that I share a birthday with Tolkien, which I've always loved. So, more information on that later, but I'm pretty excited about it. I've already figured out the first 4, or 5, I think it might be 5. I keep having like flashes of inspiration when I'm doing something else. I'm like, usually I only have to think of a part in either the books or the movies, or a scene, or just a phrase, and I sort of figure out my idea from there. I'm also hoping to have a Valentine's Day colorway next year. And yeah, so because I won't be having my summer job, I had my summer job working for the Seasonal Fire Center in Alberta for 5 years in a row, and I'm really, really hoping now that I won't have that. I'm really trying to concentrate on the shop and updates more regularly and a more themed feeling. So I'm also, I said it, how many times in a row can I say this? I've wanted to do advent calendars for quite a few years, and I haven't been able to because life keeps trying to kick my ass. But I'm really, really hoping to have advent calendars next year. I've already planned the collection. I already planned what sort of collection I was gonna have for the advent calendars, and the way I want to do advent calendars is for every Sunday leading up to Advent, the 4 Sundays before of Advent, because I do self-striping colorways, and that way you can get a sock set every Sunday, and then you can knit the socks throughout the week if you want, or save them all, hoard them. But yeah, I already planned out one collection, and then last night when I was dyeing something that had nothing to do with it, I had this flash of an idea for a different collection, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how much I can actually think of. Because I find a lot of times when you're thinking of new colorways, those colorways beget other colorways, so it's really easy to keep like just making new ones over and over again. But yeah, I want to do a more dedicated year of new colorways, Halloween colorways, you know, fall, Christmas, more, you know, consistent, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I don't know how much I'm going to be dyeing anything that you've already seen next year, purely because I do want it to be more of a creative, flowing, consistent year, so we shall see how that goes. I am completely rambling. I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyway, drinks over here. Yeah, so I guess now we can talk a little bit about the move. So, I can't remember if I already said it. So it took us 6 days across the country. Thank goodness we did it in like the end of summer, beginning of fall, because otherwise I would never have wanted to do that in the winter. I was freaked out. I'm not comfortable driving. It freaks me out. It always has. So I'm glad we did it in the summer. But we didn't stop at a hotel at any time because we had the 3 animals with us. We had the rabbit was in a smaller travel cage that I had bought him, and then we had the cat, the dog. So when we were done driving for the day, we'd find a place to park, and we had set up our spare bed. I have a twin spare bed, and we set it up in the trailer for my boyfriend to sleep on with the dog, and then I slept in the truck with the cat and the rabbit, which is not good for your back or your shoulders or your hips. It's just not something I would recommend. Makes you feel real old. But yeah, it was a long trip. It was a long trip. And yeah, we got to Fredericton on the 27th of September, and we were pretty desperate to find a place to live because we hadn't lined up a place to live, and rental prices are so high and the housing market is bonkers. So we happened to luck out entirely where a friend of my boyfriend's has a really good relationship with a realtor here. And this house that I am currently in was listed the day after we arrived, and with the perfect circumstances of who my boyfriend knows, because he's extremely extroverted, so he knows everyone, and his connections. I could never do this myself, let me tell you. I could never. But, yeah, so this house is listed on a Tuesday, and we moved in 11 days after. So we're very lucky, and it's a really sweet old house. It was built in the 60s. It needs some work, but aesthetically it's already, like, it's super cute. I painted pretty much the entire house already, and we just now need a little bit more furniture bits, and then we should be good to go. But anyway, yeah, it was nice. It's nice here. The weather's really great. But yeah, I think that's about it for now. I have more dyeing to do and more sewing and all that fun stuff. Might watch a few podcasts, but yeah, I am really, really looking forward to Vlogmas this year. I need people to start posting videos every day. Please and thanks. But yeah, I will see you all next time, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.